Yo, what's up? We're back with more Kaiju number 8, the game. And in today's video, I'm going to be updating the tier list. This tier list that I made was 2 weeks ago. And since then, we've gotten 2 new content and 2 new characters as well. Before I rank the 2 new units, I'm going to be doing some shifting. The first shift I'm going to do is going to be Rin. I'm going to put her in A tier now because she is the best DPS for the current new content. With Rin having AoE on her combat skill, ultimate, and her follow-up attack, it makes her the best DPS that you can run in the current Team 1 for Large Conquest. You slap her with 3 supports and you can kill all 40 of the Kaijus within like 5 rounds. But despite being the best DPS in Large Conquest, I cannot put her in S tier because she is not usable elsewhere. Next shift I'm going to do is going to be bumping down the old 5-star Hoshina. Now despite this Large Conquest favoring AoE units, the old 5-star Hoshina is just not good enough because his AoE is way too low of a multiplier. And his ultimate doesn't help being single target. He's a mixture of both AoE and single target because you either want to have adjacent AoE with a really strong single target or just be pure AoE. This guy has AoE on his combat skill, which is not a lot, it's only 88%, and his ultimate is single target. He's a pretty bad mixture, especially for the current content in the game. His AoE damage is not a lot, his single target is also not enough for you to run him in Team 2. Yeah, there's not much use for the old Hoshina right now. There's just better characters, especially adjacent AoE units that has better single target attack like Kikoru, right? The old Kikoru. So because of that, I'm going to be bumping him down to B tier. Next shift I'm going to do is going to be bumping down Kaiju number 8. He's still a very good unit that you can pretty much use anywhere. But the fact of the matter is that he is always going to be second rate to Sagan, and we're getting more and more blunt DPS, right? And with every release, this guy will get worse and worse because you don't really need to run him as the blunt DPS anymore. You have the new Kikoru, you have Sagan, you have Isao. But for the most part, you can use him in any content of the game. He's still really good at A0. I just don't think he's going to be S tier because every single time that you use him, you much rather use Sagan instead. His damage is still very up there, although with the new number 10 Hoshina and the old Kikoru, you can hit much harder than Kaiju number 8. So he's in a weird spot where he just does everything but not the best at anything, right? So he's gonna land in A tier. And I think those are all the shifts I'm gonna do. Alright, so the first new unit I'm gonna be ranking is gonna be Chester. He's going to go straight to S tier. Now, why is he in S tier and why is Rio in B tier? When it comes to Chester, he can use multiple weapons, not just the AR Octopus. You can use the best 4-star weapon in the game, which is going to be the AR Hound 64. That gives you speed whenever you cast a combat skill. Or you can also use his own weapon that gives you more attack and also more damage. Now, I've already made a comparison video between him and Rio. And in that video, Rio came out on top with slightly higher score than Chester team. But it took me way more retries to get the right RNG because Rio doesn't give me crit rate buff at all. And also when it comes to Rio, he is pretty much just stuck with one weapon, which is going to be the AR Octopus that gives you alt gauge. Because if you look at his skills, his alt gauge value is extremely low. It's one of the lowest in the game. 67 for the combat skill and 45 for the normal attack. Most characters give you 60 on the normal attack and 90 on the combat skill. Rio's is just way too low, so you're pretty much just stuck using the AR Octopus on this guy. So in shorter content, Rio is just not the greatest. You wouldn't use him in shorter content because most of the time, you won't even see his ultimate at all. You need to cast his combat skill and skill 1 so many times. Sometimes you can go up to 5 turns for you to even get his ultimate. Whereas Chester, on the other hand, he works in shorter content and longer content because he gets his ultimate really quickly, right? This one gives you 108 and his normal attack gives you 72 plus the this one as well. So it gives you 92 alt gauge on the normal attack. He gets his ult really quickly. And again, you can pretty much run this guy on any content and he's going to be the best AoE support in the game. Alright, final unit is going to be the new Kikoru. She is also going to go to S tier. She is one of the best plate breaking unit in the game. She can cycle her ult with 2 turns. She's probably better at plate breaking than Narumi because she can cycle her ults faster than Narumi can. And the debuffs that she provides is just way better than what Narumi can do, right? I might even bump down Narumi just because she exists now. She can break plates better than Narumi, so yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna bump down Narumi, even though you can use this guy in any content whatsoever. But his niche of being the best plate breaking unit in the game is now toppled by the new Kikoru. Now when it comes to the new Kikoru, she's not just great at breaking plates, she also does pretty decent damage, and the debuff that she provides is also pretty decent, right? The speed down debuff is one of the best in the game because it means that you take less damage, and it also means that the enemies will be out of plating for a longer period of time. The defense break doesn't really add that much to your damage unless the enemy has a really high defense, and we're talking about like 20,000 defense. If the enemy has like 20,000 defense and you put all of the defense break that she has, your damage would go up by like 10,000 or something like that. And it also helps that she is a blunt unit. A lot of the content right now has blunt plating, so her being an adjacent AoE means that she can break blunt plating very easily. The other unit is going to be Sagan, but Sagan's blunt damage is only AoE on her ultimate, whereas the new Kikoru is on her ultimate, which she can get pretty easily at the start of combat, and her combat skill is also adjacent AoE. And yeah, I think that's about it for the tier list. Maybe I think Jen still remains in S tier, but I think putting him in A tier right now makes sense because the new Kikoru is just better at breaking plates right now. The S tier is a bit infested, but I don't really want to change anything because you can literally use any of these units in any content and they are going to be the best at what they do, right? This guy is going to be the best single target support. She is going to be the best at breaking plates. He's going to be the best DPS. Reno is actually not the best DPS anymore, but his damage is not really that far off to number 10 Hoshina because he adds damage to your entire team. The debuff that he provides is actually pretty insane. Sagan is going to be the best defender in the game, and Chester is going to be the best AoE support in the game. And the units in A tier are mostly just going to be second rate. She's going to be one of the best AoE unit in the game, one of the best single target unit in the game as well, but she's not the best. Rin is the best in AoE, but she's only good for one content, and that's about it. This guy is a jack of all trades. And Narumi used to be the best plate breaking unit, which is now toppled by the new Kikoru. I think the only 5-star in the game that doesn't have a purpose right now is going to be the old number 10 Hoshina and Mina. This Mina doesn't have any purpose right now because she is purely a single target, which this guy is just way better. Him and Reno is just way better. She doesn't work in areas that you need to clear waves, and in bosses, she only works against giant class, which again, her damage is not better than number 10 Hoshina or Reno. So she's kind of in a very weird spot right now. Let me know what you think about the tier list, and yeah, that's about it. Ciao.